out, now you witnessing a survivor speak. I done messed around and went viral right from my driver's seat. Just like what the industry was containing. I'd rather make a difference instead of hating, complaining. So let me park the whip, it don't matter, rapper or model chick, singer or comedian, perfect. Let's park in politics. Hey, let's park in politics. Welcome to the pullover, let's park in politics. This the pullover, let's park in politics. I say this the pullover, let's park in politics.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Lockoutmen podcast show. I am Lockoutmen, and here with me tonight is a very young lady that I would like to call Vanessa. How are you today?
I'm doing well. I'm having my cat that wants to be part of this video, so if the camera moves around a little bit, that's why.
Is your cat a tabby?
No, she's a little black and white kitty.
Aww.
Yeah.
So sweet.
She's 13. She's a little psycho demon, but she's my baby, and she doesn't like when I'm not paying full attention to her. So since I'm on the phone and doing a video, she is going to interrupt it.
Is that the only cat you have, or
no? We have three in the house. Her siblings, they're half Norwegian forest cat, so the other two are more tabby looking and longer furred. She looks more like her mother, who was black and white and shorter furred, and used to have a snake, but he passed away. So
my son's girlfriend has two snakes. So
okay. Do you know what kind?
I had the slightest idea what kind of I really don't. What I can do, hold on right quick. Hold on. What I can do, hold on. I can ask her. I can ask her what kind of I take it you're a fan of snakes.
Yeah, I've had a lot of snakes and lizards and stuff like that over the years.
Oh my God.
I like self-sufficient animals.
Antoinette, you're live right now. I have a quick question for you.
Yes.
What kind of snakes do you have?
I have a male ball python. He is 3 years old, and then I have a female corn snake. She is 4 years old.
Okay. So Vanessa, you have a what?
A ball python and a corn snake.
A ball.
Thank you.
A ball python and a corn snake.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, a corn snake.
Okay, what the hell is a corn snake? I know a python. I know a python. As a matter of fact, I didn't even know that was a python. So you mean tell me you ain't that the one that like a stand up at attention?
No, that's a cobra that you're thinking of.
Oh, okay, but don't a python do the same damn thing?
I mean, they can, but they don't strike like cobras do.
Yeah, but they're much smaller.
Okay, so let me get this straight. We have a bald eagle. I mean, a bald python and a corn snake.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay, so Vanessa, Antoinette, what because Vanessa here, say hello to Vanessa.
Hello. Hi.
All right. Here, she's a fan of snakes. And somebody tell me, what is the difference between a corn python and a bald snake?
Oh my God.
A corn snake are smaller. They usually, on average, at the most, get about 6 feet long, if that, usually about 4 feet. And they're called corn snakes because they live in like corn grain silos and eat rats. And you also have rat snakes. They're native to North America, where ball pythons are more. I think the pythons are from South America or from India. I'm not sure which one. Getting boa constrictors and pythons mixed up. But they're the ones that you end up having to feed rabbits to. And I didn't want to do that.
Well, you know, I always tease Antoinette about the big snake because we do have a cat, and always
we don't have a boy.
Huh?
We don't have a food constrictor. That would be a boa constrictor.
Okay, so the big snake that we got won't attack Chubbs.
No, Chubbs is afraid of the snake. The snake is afraid of Chubbs.
My cats are not afraid. Well, they weren't afraid of my snakes. They used to lay on top of the snake's tank all the time because I think the heat lamp. They like the heat. So.
Oh yeah.
So.
But I had mine was the last snake I had was a trinket rat snake. So it was small. Didn't have to eat anything larger than a rat. So.
Aww.
So
he was very pretty.
So we just drop a rat into the cage and the snake would just take it out.
I used to feed mine with chopsticks. I'd keep dead rats in the freezer. My dad hated it, and I just thaw them out and feed them with chopsticks.
My mom was the same way. She didn't like me keeping them in the freezer. She's like, put them in the basement.
Yeah, she got like a little refrigerator freezer, in her little in her little studio. Yeah,
okay.
She kind of took my pride and joy and just turned it into her own little studio up there. So, but it's a beautiful thing watching Antoinette work because she has, it just reminds me of when I used to work in the same room, when I used to work out of the room, and it's sort of like a serious flashback, like, fuck, that was me years ago. So yeah, she's the one. I don't know if you ever seen me with my mask on. Do I have it? Hold on. Oh damn, it's up front, but she's the one that makes those masks. So
okay.
If you want a mask or something like that, I'll definitely send you the link so you can go ahead and order from her. All right, Antoinette. Well, thank you for coming on right quick. I appreciate you chiming in.
Have a good day. I had fun talking about snakes.
All
right. So Vanessa, man. So we was well. Let me say what's up to every. Oh, hold on. Yep, there we go. That's what I said. That's why I had to turn that off. All right. See that? Why am I? Is it on? Yeah, I thought it was on. All right, everybody. So welcome to the Lockoutmen podcast show, where today's special guest is Vanessa. Thank you very much for being here. Once y'all step up in the building, say hi. Let me know where you're from and hit that like button. You know what I'm saying? Let me welcome the L.O.M community. Resto, what's going on? Warren Reese, what's up, thumbs? Warren Reese. Why is that? Why you change your name again, bro? I can't keep up. Same thing with Resto. Y'all changing y'all name. What y'all trying to do to a brother over here, man? NY to Japan. Now you should be like NY to Japan. It's been that from day one. And I think I asked NY to Japan. I was like, yo, why that's your name? Simple. She go to Japan and I think she stays in New York. I'm not sure. Come back and correct me on that. Sweetest Georgia Peach, my newest member to the L.O.M community. What's going on? What'd she say? Wrong podcast. No, you at the right one, baby. Black Knight. Let's see. Wait, did I just joined? Did she say? Hold on right quick. Black Knight said, wait, I just joined. Did she say that she thaw out dead rats and eat? No, bro. We have snakes, man. No, we have snakes, bro. We feed the dead rats the snakes, bro.
Yeah, I don't eat much meat at all, so I'm definitely not eating dead rats.
That's Tasha Westside, what's going on? James Burgess, what's going on? She feeds them to the snakes. Yes. They that's all they being fed. Do snakes eat other food as well? Do they have like some specific snake food other than rats?
No, it's pretty much just rats. Rats and mice. But they'll eat any small mammals, reptiles. Some snakes like eggs, stuff like that. But for just snakes that you keep as pets, it's generally you're going to feed them feeder mice or feeder rats or rabbits when they get big enough.
Now, when she brought her snakes over, I was, I was paranoid. I was fucking scared. Like, she was like, "Yo, you wanna touch it?" I was like, "No." How is it possible to make a snake a pet?
Snakes have their own personalities. So some snakes are really gentle, like the one that I had that passed away last year. He would curl up in your sleeve if you were wearing a hoodie and just chill there in the dark and the warm, and he was very friendly. But I had other snakes that would bite you if you got anywhere near them, and in those cases you just keep them in their tanks and feed them.
Okay, but are they poisonous? That's what I learned in my
so not the ones that you generally would buy as a pet. The ones that you generally buy as pets are the constrictor versions. So like boa constrictors, pythons, rat snakes, corn snakes, stuff like that. Now the poisonous ones, I think you actually might have to have a special license to own them. So those would be like, rattlesnakes, vipers, basically. So they're not really pets. They're pretty and fun to look at zoos and stuff, but not something you want to own as a pet.
If you man, now since you know a little bit about snakes, do the ones that you said that you need a license for because they're poisonous, is there a way to depoison the snakes?
You can milk them to have them be less poisonous, but you can't ever make them completely poisonous or get rid of their poison completely, because they just constantly create new poison.
Okay.
But that's what most people own them for, is to milk them so that people can make anti-venom.
Oh, okay. See, I watch too much TV. So here's the thing from reality to real. So you get bit by a snake and somebody come and is that real?
I've heard differing stories on it, but from what I understand, it's not real. I mean, you might be able to get some of the venom out, but you're still going to need to go to the hospital and get anti-venom or have them keep track of your heart rate and stuff like that. Depends on the type of snake. Some snakes are deadly within minutes. Other ones, they just kind of, your body has necrosis and your skin dies off, and it's not a way that I don't want to deal with that ever.
Okay. That's what's up. So Vanessa, let's talk a little bit about yourself, man. Where are you from?
I'm from Detroit.
Motor City. Okay.
So I'm a Detroit girl.
Do I got a thing for that? No, I don't. I'll probably give you the bomb drop. There you go. Motor City, Detroit. Now, Detroit. I've been to Detroit many a times. Travels, my travels in the poker field includes Detroit, Motor City.
My aunt's a dealer at Motor City Casino.
Yes.
Don't let them know that you know me, because they won't let you play there anymore.
Oh, so. Wait, stop. What happened? What happened?
You can't know the dealers. That's all.
Really?
Yeah.
So if I was to know a dealer, I can't play there?
You could probably play at the casino. You cannot play at their table.
Not at the table that the dealer is dealing at.
Yeah.
So when they do they switch around, that means I actually had to get up from that table and move to a different table, or just leave there while they're there for 30 minutes, because they only there for 30 minutes at a time.
You just couldn't play at the table that the dealer was at. So, like, if the dealer was there for that 30 minutes, you couldn't play at that table. You could either leave the casino, go to a different table, whatever, but you cannot play with that dealer dealing.
Wow, I ain't know that. That's something new. That's something new right there. That's a wild moment. So I will make it my point not to know no dealers.
Yeah, there you go.
Now you're talking about knowing dealers personally, like outside the casino.
Outside the casino.
Not knowing dealers as a regular casino.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. Because there's a lot of those.
Yeah. No, it's fine to know the dealer like at work, but you can't be like go and get coffee with them or drinks afterwards or something like that, or be related to them.
Wow. That's wow. Okay. Is that just in Detroit, or is that with all casinos?
That's all casinos.
Oh, okay.
Yep, all casinos. So.
All right. So so I do mess with Motor City. I do mess with MGM and the generic one downtown, which is Greektown. Is it still named Greektown?
As far as I know, it is.
Yeah, because
I mean, it's in Greektown, so I can't imagine them changing the name of the casino.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, because what's his name? The owner of the Cavs and the Jack Casino here in Ohio, he owns Greektown. As a matter of fact, from what I understand, he owns a lot of property out in Detroit.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, Dan somebody. I forgot his last name already. God damn it, man. All right, so what was life like for you growing up in Detroit?
It was kind of interesting. My dad was a Detroit cop. My mom was, before I was born, was a bartender at a bar called The Last Chance, which was a notorious bar for hookers and johns. And that's actually where my dad met my mom. And like Eileen Wuornos, like the famous female serial killer, she used to hang out at that bar all the time.
Oh my God.
Yeah, my mom knew her.
You're talking about the same chick that they did a profile on. I think they actually did a movie, didn't?
Yeah, I think it was called Monster.
Yeah, Solis Theron.
Yeah, Lee Wuornos was her name. My mom was kind of friend. She knew her in passing. She was one of the hookers at the bar that was all the time. It finally got shut down by the FBI, and they swore that they were never going to have a place where people could congregate at 8 and Woodward ever again.
Wow.
So I have cat fur all over my face.
So this is before you was born that your mom knew her.
Yeah.
Did she tell you like any type of crazy stories about her?
Oh yeah. Well, not necessarily about her, but just about the place in general, about people dying in the bar and them dragging them outside and leaving them in the bushes so that the bar wouldn't get shut down. SWAT just coming in through the back door and walking out through the front door just to do it. Like,
Hold on, I'm shocked here. Hold on right quick. People actually died in the bar. What, from drinking or just natural causes or just
probably drug overdoses, to be honest.
Overdose? And they just they don't call the they don't call the paramedics and nothing like that. They just hem them up and just put them outside in the bushes and that's it.
Because they were looking for any excuse to shut the bar down, so they weren't letting them find one.
Wow. And your mother, your mother, how long she worked there before they shut it down, or she
probably they shut it down. Probably 2 or 3 years. She was also a runway model at the time, so she actually made a lot of money there because these guys would go in looking for hookers, and if they didn't find a hooker, they'd start buying my mom drinks, and my mom didn't drink, so she would just take the money for the drink and drink Coke and say she was drinking rum and Coke, and then they'd leave her huge tips because she was gorgeous. She was 5'7", long black hair, runway model, so they would, and she made a lot of money.
I kind of figured that's how these women at the bars work, especially the go-go bars. Well,
Yeah.
they're different name now. I'm old school, y'all gonna have to excuse me, but back in my day, it was go-go bars, and I will go in, and the young lady will be like, "You want to buy me a drink?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, okay." Tell me why she only take a sip out that motherfucker. Like, I'm over here like, ain't you gonna drink the rest of that?
I mean, I used to do cage dancing at bars down in like Hamtramck and Detroit and stuff, and I never asked people to buy me drinks, but I don't really drink, so if they would offer to buy me a drink, I would just get a Coke, and usually they just give me really good tips.
So how would they like technically buy you a drink? Like they'll give you the money to pay for the drink and you just give me a Coke?
Sometimes, well, with my mom, because she was the bartender, it was a lot easier. But if you were friends with the bartender, they would charge them for with my mom rum and Coke. With me, it was usually whiskey and ginger ale, and just kind of put the money to the side, and then at the end of the night they would give me the difference between what a Jameson and ginger ale would be or just a Verner's.
So your mom met your cop dad, like,
yeah,
I mean,
my dad was working Vice.
What's your dad do? Just come in there on the humble and just say, "Hey, let me take you out."
I don't know how they ended up dating. I know they met there. I know after she left there, she started working at a place called the Precinct Pub, which was a cops bar, basically. And I don't know how they actually started dating, but they ended up living together pretty fast and lived together for about 3 years, got married, and then had me. So.
And as a young Vanessa growing up, I see you did ballerina. You started dancing, started martial arts. What's your belt level in martial arts?
I was a brown belt. I was one belt below black.
Oh, okay.
My little sister, on the other hand, is an international gold medal martial artist in her Korean martial arts that she does.
Okay, so is her hands registered as deadly weapons?
No.
You guys might not want to put hands on her. You might not want to put hands on Vanessa either. I don't know.
I'm sorry?
Are you still studying martial arts?
No, not anymore. After I snapped my leg when I was 15, and then I was still doing martial arts for a while, and then I had to have several reconstructive surgeries afterwards in my 20s, and it kind of made it hard to do anything like that, and it's also hard to do martial arts when you're on the road. But no, I like my parents said when I started truck driving, like, I'm 5'2", and I tend to wear dresses, like long, flowy, pretty dresses and corsets and stuff like that, and they're, like they said, they're like, I know you can take care of yourself, because besides the fact that I'm 5'2", I'm the oldest sibling and cousin in a very large family. And like my little brother is 6'4", my little sister is 5'7". My cousins are all the girls are 5'7" and above, all the boys are 6'3" and above. My great uncle played football for the Kansas City Chiefs back when they won the Super Bowl back in like the 60s. And his brother, my grandpa, was 6'11". So I come from this massive family of giants, and I'm 5'2". So I fight dirty. And like my family used to say, like my dad, he's like, I'm not worried about you being on the road. I know you can handle yourself, but you don't look like you can handle yourself. And you're going to end up hurting someone really bad.
You look like a girly girl out here.
Yeah. Yeah.
When somebody jump wrong at you, then that girly girl turns the evilness, and you can fuck a person up pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I suffer from small dog syndrome, you know, like every other short person out there. We're
All
just
right.
mean. Like,
Welcome everybody to the Lockoutmen podcast show. Thank you guys for being here. I really do appreciate it. If you guys do me the favor and hit that like button lets YouTube know that you guys is rocking with me. Let's go to some people in the comments. Resto says that you said one time why everybody have a trucker on their name. Oh, wait. You said one time everybody has trucker in their names. That's why I changed it. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm just saying it's like every trucker that gets a YouTube channel or Instagram has to have trucker in the name. And I just think like it's like on an analytics standpoint, I get it. I know why people put trucker in the name. You know what I'm saying? For analytics standpoint. But yeah, I mean, just try to be different. That's
I mean,
fine.
honestly, my YouTube name is Sessa Drives Trucks, so I can't really say anything about that.
Well, see, your name is Sessa
Yeah.
and drives trucks. It's not Trucker Sessa or Trucker Vanessa or Truck Diva or you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's Sessa drives trucks. You see
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
I used Sessa because that was my nickname growing up because my brother couldn't figure out how to say Vanessa or sister, so he called me Sessa, like
Okay.
Sessa. So like, and there's a lot of Nessas and Vanessas and V's, especially with me. Both my initials are V.
Right.
But there's not a lot of Sessas out there, so I went with Sessa. Yes. I don't like Vivi. That was a nickname. My grandma had a dog named Fifi, and I think Vivi just reminded me of this stupid little mean French poodle and like named Fifi that I grew up with. So like I just was never a fan of Vivi.
Trucking with Tony. See? Trucking with Tony. NY to Japan. She came back to answer my question. She says, I live in New York, moved to Japan for a few years, then lived in China, then moved back to New York, back in New York for good, I think. How is
okay. Nihama.
Oh, you speak Japan?
That was Chinese. But yeah, I can speak some Japanese too.
So you spoke it here or you went abroad to
I studied it in college. I also, where I live in Metro Detroit is technically considered the Chinatown area. So I grew up around a lot of people who speak Hmong, Mandarin, Korean, Japanese. But I studied Chinese and Japanese in college, and I was supposed to teach in China, but my sister was supposed to go over there too. She actually is better at Chinese than I am. But my mom was kind of panicking about my little sister going over there, so we didn't end up going. But I don't remember much. I remember how to say I don't like you.
Yo, God damn it, man, that was quick. Okay. I don't even know what you just said what you just about to say too. Say it again. Hanishiwa.
That's Japanese, but yeah.
Oh my God.
Arigatou gozaimasu.
Well, thank you. Whatever you just said.
That's what I just said.
Oh, there you go. So have you ever once wanted to go to Japan, or I know you said your mom was scared about it, but did you still wanted to go? Is there plan to go?
Yeah, actually my sister and I are planning on going to Japan, hopefully whenever all this pandemic stuff stops. I have a couple of friends. I have a cousin that lives in Tokyo, and I have a friend that lives in Okinawa. He's a Marine. And then I would like to kind of go to China too, but I'd rather go to Japan. I understand Japanese better than Mandarin and Chinese. I don't know any like traditional Chinese at all. And China's huge, so like I can't pick just like one area of China to go to, and that's why my mom was worried because the college we were going to teach at in China was you could see North Korea from where we were. Okay. And North Korea was kind of doing their whole bomb threat thing at the time. Yeah. And my mom just didn't want us stuck. Well, mostly didn't want my little sister stuck. She knows she can't control what I do. But didn't want us stuck in China if North Korea decided to do something. So
and then the pandemic happened, and they said it came from China to America, and it just go from there. So China is like what, level 5 right now as far as the crisis go?
Yeah, I don't know what level China's at. I know they were doing way better than us. And at least in Wuhan, where it started, they actually were having like huge pool parties and stuff this summer when we were still on lockdown, because everyone like took the lockdown like super serious in China. Like, you know, because they've got a communist government. So like when their government says stay home, you cannot leave, you know, they cannot leave. You know, it's not like here where you can still go get groceries and still go to the gym and, you know, stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay, that's the difference between us and them.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely don't want to be as strict as China, but I would appreciate it if people, you know, maybe wore masks around other people. Then I wouldn't be stuck in the position I'm in.
We're gonna touch on that. We're gonna touch on that in this episode as well. Black Knight, what's going on? Michael Jackson is in the building. Callie King, what's going on, bruh? Teddy the Trucker is here. Let's see. Callie King says he got a home girl named Nessa. So that's what's up. That's what's up. I appreciate all you guys being here. My special guest tonight is Miss Vanessa, and you know she's here just parking Politic with me. So with all that, you graduated at 17. Did you go to college?
Yes. Well, first I went to beauty school because I wanted to be a doctor, and my mom wanted me to be a cosmetologist. Little backwards, but my mom's an esthetician now, so she's one of the skincare specialists, so she wanted me to be a cosmetologist. I got kicked out of cosmetology school a week before I graduated.
Why?
For missing too many days.
Wait. Was you paying for that?
Yeah, I was paying for it, but it wasn't on purpose. What it is I am asthmatic. Pretty badly asthmatic, even though I smoke cigarettes. But the perm solutions they were using in the school were causing massive flare-ups, and I actually ended up in the hospital for a while because of it. And because I couldn't personally call off school, they considered it no call, no show for a week, even though my parents called and said that I was in the hospital. And they were switching ownership of the school, and they were kicking out students a couple hours before they were ready to graduate.
But like, I'm tripping. You paying for this is coming out of your pocket.
Yep.
So how do they have that ability to do that if you're paying out of pocket?
I don't know how that worked, but they kicked a lot of us out of school. You know, we could have gone to a different cosmetology school and finished up, but we would have had to pay again. And I didn't particularly want to do it in the first place, so I wasn't going to pay for half a semester just for a week's worth of class. So
Got you. So your other jobs that you done before you got into trucking, you was a carrier. a fetish model. Did it touch on your experience as a fetish model?
Basically, I would either do I'd be a model for photographs. I did body casts. We did fetish shows. I did belly dancing in the fetish shows. I also did I was the one that did bloodletting on people. So I was the one who would stick needles in people.
You did what?
Bloodletting.
Blood what?
Yeah. It's a fetish, apparently, is having needles stuck in you and have blood come out. And I was a licensed phlebotomist, so I could legally do that.
So blood letting?
Mm-hmm.
Stick a needle in me and just
let the blood flow. Like some people like to cut with razor blades. I would not do that stuff. I would stick a surgical needle into people, and it was usually other models. Like we knew what we were doing. Other models did some crazy stuff, like with the big fish hooks in their backs and stuff, and get suspended into the air. And I never did that. I did for the shows. I just did belly dancing.
So how much you was getting for doing that?
For a show, which was probably about 6 hours, not even 6 hours, well, 6 hours total from like setup to tear down and everything, I'd probably make $500 a night.
Wow, just by sticking needle in people and just
and I didn't even have to do that all the time, and like flogging them and stuff like that. Like they'd want to be tied up to the beams and crosses, and you just flog them.
Yeah, right. Sweetest Georgia Peach. I'm scratching my head too because I'm not a fan of needles.
I'm not a fan of needles either. Actually, I became a phlebotomist because I was afraid of needles, and I was trying to get over my phobia of them. I'm not afraid of needles. Like I've got like lots of piercings and tattoos and stuff, but like actually getting like injections or blood drawn, I don't like it.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of needles. But you became a phlebotomist. Am I pronouncing?
Phlebotomist, yeah.
Phlebotomist. Now, I never knew, like when I got my blood drawn, I never knew that was a word, the technical medical word for, drawing the person's blood.
Yeah.
Where the hell they get that from? Like, where is that word from? Phlebotomist.
Phlebotomy is the word. It's I believe it's Greek. Most medical words are Greek. Yeah. I think phlebo means blood. I'm not 100% positive on that though. Yeah.
Okay. So you so you was a licensed phlebotomist.
Yes. While I was in school for science.
So how long you did that career? And was it at a hospital or was it at like a clinic?
It was I worked at a biomedical lab. I actually worked with infectious diseases, and I did that for 12 years. And I would drive to different doctors' offices and stuff like that, and I would draw blood, and then we would take it back to the lab and we would test it and stuff, and we worked with SARS and MERS and Ebola and all those fun things. And if I was still doing it now, we would be working with COVID. So
that's money right there.
Actually, it's not. I made $12.50 an hour.
$12.50 an hour to work around infectious diseases?
Yep.
Oh, you had to pay me to do that stuff, man.
With my degree in science. Yeah.
Man.
There's a reason I became a trucker.
You got pay me to work around infectious disease, needles, blood, all that stuff. That's crazy. So you done that for 12 years though.
Yeah.
Man. So was getting into trucking, where did getting into trucking come into play from being a phlebotomist?
My uncle is a steel hauler. And my best friend, who actually used to do the fetish shows with me, he was one of the security guards at the fetish shows. He's a tanker driver. And we also worked conventions together, like anime conventions and steampunk conventions and stuff like that. We'd do tech for them and transportation. And he knew that I was a really good driver and that I love to drive. And he suggested that I become a trucker. He thought that I'd really enjoy it. And he was right.
Hold on for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a hot second. Hold on. Caddy King. Hold on, Callie. All right, bro. There you go. All right, bro. There you go. I got you. All right. Man. Well, a lot of, my, Antoinette, who we just talked to in the beginning of the show, she does a lot of anime conventions.
Okay.
She does a lot of anime, trinkets and stuff like that. But what, she pretty much got, shut down with all this COVID stuff, man.
Yeah.
So with the conventions, that kind of got you liking trucks?
Yeah, because I was on tech staff, I was one of the people that would end up just driving the box trucks full of tech equipment around. And we'd drive cross country. We'd drive because we didn't do all anime. Like here in Detroit, we did anime. We did Yomicon, and but we would do we did like a science convention down in New Orleans. We did Folsom Street Fair in San Francisco and stuff like that. So I was one of the people that drive the big box trucks around. And like I said, my friend who used to work security at the fetish shows and work tech with me is a tanker driver. And he said, that he thought that I would enjoy driving a big truck. And, I got into it from there.
So where did you where did you get your start? Did you go to a school? Did you go to a company? Where did you get your start trucking?
I went to school. I went to a trucking school not too far away from me called Midwest. I think it's just Midwest Truck School.
Out of pocket, grant?
Out of pocket. I'm still paying it off.
Oh, okay. So what you got a loan, or you just worked it out through the school?
I got a loan. And the first company I went to was supposed to pay it. They agreed to pay it, and they did for about 2 weeks, and then they stopped paying it. And I was not aware that they had stopped paying it. And then it went to collections, and now I am paying it off through a lawyer in Texas.
God damn it, man. How much was the school?
School was about $6,000.
Wow. For how many weeks?
I went part-time. So I actually went for 3 months because I was only going on Saturday and Sunday because I was still working full-time.
Okay. But you actually do you feel going that way you got a chance to learn more?
I think I probably did, because if I had extra time, I could come in during the week if I just wasn't getting something. And they actually they tended to focus more on the weekend students because a lot of the weekday students were there because of, like, here it's called Michigan Works. Basically, if they wanted to stay on their bridge card, unemployment, whatever, they had to go to like a school or do community service, and so they'd go to truck school through unemployment, had no interest in being there, didn't want to get their license, and were just there because they had to be. Where those of us who went on the weekends, it was because we actually wanted to be there, and we were working full time to afford to be there. And so they kind of focused a little more on us on the weekends than they did the kids. Well, I call them kids, but people during the week, All
right. So, what was the first trucking company, and how did you vet them?
Well, the first one I went to, I actually got denied once I got there. I failed their DOT physical in the state. I had a 2-year physical for here in Michigan, but I failed Nebraska's physical. Apparently, their physical is like a EMS physical almost. Like they have you doing push-ups and sit-ups and crunches and lifting weights and all sorts of crazy stuff. And I wasn't as strong as I am now because I had been working in a lab for 12 years. And that was Grand Island Express. They had just started taking people right out of school. And one of the trainers at the school had worked there. And when I got accepted there until I got denied Nebraska's physical, I was just kind of desperate for a job, and I knew that Swift would hire literally anybody. So I went to Swift, especially because they have a terminal about 45 minutes away from my house, and I'd be able to park my car there while I was on the road, park my truck there when I came back, and it was convenient.
All right, so Swift won out everything. What was the you don't have to go into too much detail, but what was the training process? Did you go through one person, two people? Are you still with Swift?
Oh no.
Just want to clarify that. So
yeah, no, I left Swift 1 year and 1 week after I started with them. So
okay. And what was the training process with Swift for you?
I told them I didn't care if I had a male or female trainer, which meant I got a trainer faster than other women who go out in the truck, because they don't have a lot of female trainers. They actually wanted me to be a female trainer, but I don't want to be in the truck with anyone else, especially not a brand new driver. They would scare the living hell out of me. So I went out with an older man. It wasn't bad. He, kind of reminded me.
He didn't try to hit on you or anything like that. He taught you what you needed to know.
He didn't really hit on me. He did tell me I was beautiful and stare at my chest, but that's not that big of a deal. He did tell me that he talked about his wife a lot, and about how much he loved her and everything like that.
He talked about his wife while staring at your chest, though.
Yeah, my chest is kind of large, so I don't know. Some guys just can't help it. I don't really take it that offensive,
my wife is this, that, and the third. No, my up here.
Yeah, up here. I was I would wear. I had a necklace on at the time that was a cameo. That kind of had like a skull cameo on it, and it hung down lower, and I would be like, "Oh, it's a really pretty necklace, right?" Just so that he knew he was staring at my chest, but but yeah, he taught me most of what I needed to know. He, would get they didn't really teach us how to do that much stuff in school. They taught us how to back, but backing in school is completely different than once you start backing out on the road. So he would get I was really good at certain types of backing. I was really good at blindside backing, but sometimes I just wasn't that great at regular backing, and he'd get a little frustrated and just take over, and but it went pretty fast.
Backing for everybody is a little bit tough. Some get it, some don't, but
yeah,
you have to be patient with them to make sure they get it. That's all.
Yeah, I became a lot better at backing once I was alone. And I'm better at learning myself than having other people train me. But it was nice to have, someone in the truck in case of an emergencies. We were driving 94 back up into Michigan from Indiana, and it was a blizzard, and I was fine because I'm from Michigan driving in snow until the truck in front of me flipped sideways. And then I yelled for him to get up, and because then I was panicking because I had no idea why this truck just flipped over. They
So
must have
wait,
gone slightly.
it flipped in front of you. Where were you in conjunction to that?
I was probably about 4 trucks back. There was no trucks in between the two of us, but we had a good distance between each other.
Okay, so you was able to safely
Yeah.
stop. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So okay,
Yeah.
that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
So from Swift,
Mhm.
how many trucking companies have you went through before you got with the company that you're currently at now? And we'll touch on the reason why you're not driving in a minute.
I was with 2 other companies. My last company would have kind of been the one that my last company. I'm not with them right now. Probably not going back to them. I have someone I actually met on Instagram who is starting their own company and who has asked me to be a driver for them and has offered me quite a bit of lovely incentives to come drive with them. So when I do finally get to go back out on the road, I think I'm going to try going with her.
Okay.
I was with Crete Carriers, and after Crete, I went to Rush Trucking here, based out of here in Michigan.
Okay.
And,
Okay. Now between Crate, give us a little thing about Crate and Rush Trucking.
Crete is it's another one of those bigger trucking companies, where you're kind of a number instead of a name. But they do have better equipment than a lot of the companies. They do pay a little bit better. They do seem to kind of care more about their drivers than some of the other bigger companies that I've run across or heard about. Crete's a good company. I actually, if stuff does not work out with this lady, which I really hope it does, because she's a fantastic woman, and she seems to actually really care about what will happen to her drivers. But if it doesn't work out with her, then Crete is where I'm planning on going back to. There are a lot of drop and hook, and I actually don't mind live load and live unload, and I prefer being way over the road than shorter runs. And Rush Trucking, they paid better than Crete. Their equipment was rental trucks from Ryder. First one was supposed to be cleaned out and good and stuff, and when I got in it, it was filthy, including the previous driver's sex toys.
No, that was kind of fun to find.
Oh yeah, disgusting. I mean, I don't care what you're doing in the truck, just don't leave that stuff behind when you leave the truck, please. But and then the second truck I got from them, there was something wrong with the bunk heater. Like, it wouldn't stay on unless the dome light was on. So you had to sleep with the dome light on, in the winter. Yeah. So, and originally they hired me to be OTR, and then they got a Coca-Cola route and took their best drivers and put them on this Coca-Cola route because they didn't want to lose it. And I wasn't too happy with that, because that meant I was stuck in the Midwest again, mostly kind of running from Michigan to North Carolina to Missouri, Missouri to Arkansas to Indiana back to Michigan. So
all right. What's up, everybody? This is the Lockoutmen podcast show. My special guest tonight is Vanessa. What's going on? I want to welcome everybody that's in the chat. My man Kelly King, he's now a moderator. So what's up with you, bro? He's about to leave up out of here. Who else stepped up in the building while we was talking? Don't look like too many people except for Kelly King, but yeah, Kelly King got go. I appreciate you bouncing up in here, bro. Thank you very much, man. If you guys have any questions, make sure you leave it in the comments, and I will go ahead and pass it over to Vanessa. Vanessa, COVID season started last year. It pretty much hit everybody. How has COVID came home to you?
COVID hit my family really, really hard. I actually was on vacation with my mom and sister in New Orleans, and we came back March 13th, which was the day that they shut New Orleans down because of COVID. There was no COVID in New Orleans or in Detroit when we went. I had this trip to New Orleans planned for a year. We came back. I went back to work, and then I found out my dad and my sister were sick, but they were kind of keeping how sick they were from me because I have asthma and lupus. And then I found out that my dad was going to the hospital, and my sister couldn't get off the floor, and her lips and her fingers were blue. And my mother had tested positive for COVID too. And I came home that day. I was actually picking up in Michigan at that time. Told my company I had to go home because I was really close to my dad. I dropped my load, went home. 12 days later, my dad died. He was on the ventilator for 12 days. His lungs collapsed. His kidney started to shut down. They gave him hydroxychloroquine. Nothing worked. And he was healthy before it. I mean, he was in his 60s, but he had no health problems besides a bad hip from getting hit by a fire truck when he was younger. My sister, like I mentioned earlier, is an international gold medal martial artist. She has no health issues. She's in her 20s, and she almost died. And she now has what they call post-COVID syndrome. Actually, she may have had a heart attack on Saturday. She's been having problems with her lungs, with her heart. She was in the doctors today. They were testing her heart again. So this was back April 9th was when my dad died. So it's been that long, and she's still suffering the side effects from this virus. My mom, on the other hand, was fine. You know,
I am
Go
I am so sorry to hear this.
Thank you.
And I am still trying to this very day to wrap my head around this virus that I see some people get the virus and able to come up out of it, and then I see so many other people dying from it.
Yep. And that's what's really scary about this one is you don't know who it's going to affect. You know, my mom has high cholesterol and high blood pressure. She should have been affected badly from it, but she was asymptomatic. You know, and it killed my dad, who just had arthritis in his leg, and it almost killed my sister, you know, who's like the healthiest person ever and in her 20s.
Your father in his 60s, no health issues. He wasn't a diabetic. He wasn't, and COVID just hit him that hard.
Yep.
Now you say your mother and sister went on a trip?
Okay, so they were on a trip with me. We didn't catch it there. My dad, his retirement job was a medical courier. So he was delivering blood, organs, medications, tools, stuff like that to hospitals, like from Red Cross to the hospitals and stuff like that. And there were no masks and there was no hand sanitizer available. So we're pretty sure that's how he caught it. I mean, some of the stuff he was transporting was the virus. So
this is like in the early.
Oh yeah, yeah. He caught it late March. So yeah.
So and by him going into places, he pretty much couldn't pinpoint where he caught it.
No, he could have caught it anywhere. He could have caught it in, I mean, he was in Henry Ford Hospital, St. John's Hospital, Beaumont Hospital, Red Cross, doctor's offices, you know, all of that. So he could have got it literally anywhere. And he was afraid to go to the hospital when he got sick because he thought he might have pneumonia, and there were no COVID tests available. So he was afraid to go to the hospital and catch COVID if he had pneumonia. But he had COVID, and my mom finally convinced him, after 5 days of him being sick, that he needed to go to the hospital. He was hallucinating, and my sister at that point, like, she couldn't get up. Her lips and fingers were blue. The hospital actually wouldn't take her because she was young and healthy. And they needed.
Where did your sister catch it? What she caught it from?
Probably my dad. Yeah, because we all lived together in the same house. So, yeah.
I am
but
so hear that.
Yeah. No, thank you.
Your mom's was okay.
Mm-hmm.
She turned out to be fine.
Yes, she did have it though, but she was fine.
She turned out to be fine, and it caught up with you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it caught up with you from a security guard at Coca-Cola. Tell us about that.
So about a month after my dad died, I went back to work. I had got a COVID test before I returned to work. My company insisted on that. And because it was so early, and I was negative still. I had not come into contact with anybody at all. I just went and, got in my truck, went to go pick up my load at Coca-Cola. And as I was leaving, security guard came out. She didn't have a mask on, didn't have gloves, nothing like that, which I didn't say anything to her about it. I just kept on trying to, like, step back from her, just politely, because masks weren't as big of a thing back then. I was serious about them. Yeah, I was serious about them because I used to work with infectious diseases, so I knew. But
right.
And she kept on stepping into me, and, like, she knew that my dad had died and my sister had almost died, because it was from there that I had picked up the last load before, when my dad went into the hospital, and I had said something to them. And when I came back, she asked how they were, and I told them, my dad passed, and my sister, was starting to do better, but she had almost died. And this security guard, she kept on, like, stepping up into me as I kept on stepping back, talking about how
wasn't giving you your social distance.
It wasn't even giving me a personal space, like, like, closer than I want somebody in not pandemic times,
Like, why you keep stepping to me, man? You good there, man.
I can hear you,
You're good, right? But you don't need to keep coming up close to me to tell me what you need to tell me. Hand me my paperwork and I'm gone.
Yeah. So, and she was, talking about how she wouldn't use hand sanitizer because it hurt her hands, and she wasn't going to wear a mask because, this is America and they can't make me, and, I'd know if I was sick, and God chooses your time, and blah, 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 and all the typical reasons you hear.
That type of person.
Yeah. And I believe she actually said something about, when the president wears a mask, I will wear a mask. Which I wasn't going to argue with her, Now
let me ask you this. I mean, you attest of getting COVID from her because she was the only one that you was around.
Yes. I didn't go into any truck stops. I didn't speak with any other person. I literally got in my truck that nobody had been in months, or in a month. And the virus doesn't last more than a week on metal surfaces, let alone, a month. Drove out there, I Lysoled my trailer down. I wore disposable gloves. I wore masks. Didn't talk to anybody else. Spoke, had this woman, who was very close to me. And then picked up my load, shut down for the night. And the next day when I got up, I started feeling a little off, checked my temperature. My temperature was starting to go up. I was starting to have some trouble breathing, and I didn't even make it to that night before I started having a lot of trouble, and had to call my company and tell them that I had to bring the load back.
So
So
you did the no taste, the no smell affected you too?
the no taste didn't really affect me. My sense of taste has changed though. It did affect my sister. She still has a little bit of trouble tasting certain things, but she couldn't taste anything when she had it. Me, it
But
was
for you,
more, it just changed my sense of taste.
but for you doing out, so the progression of your health was declining throughout that entire day.
Yeah.
This is the next following day.
Hmm.
So what was the key issue that that you started to notice something was wrong?
When my breathing started getting really bad, when I had to use my inhaler about 7 times within 3 hours, that's when I was like, okay, I knew that there was something bad. Plus, like I said, my temperature started to go up a little bit, so I knew my body was fighting off some type of infection. Um, so I went back. I told my company. I came back. I dropped my load. Um, I went and got a COVID test, and I did it with blood test. Came back positive, and had to do the 14 days. And a bunch of interesting stuff happened from there. Ended up having to, was it NIH contacted me, the National Institute of Health, asking for blood samples, because I was reacting a little bit different than they thought I should. And I kind of got saved by my old job, because I handled SARS. COVID is a SARS virus. So because I had been in contact and handling SARS over years, I had gotten a little bit of an immunity to it, just a slight immunity. So that's kind of what saved my life at the point. But I also did not end up with any antibodies at all. So I didn't end up with any of the long lasting ones only last 2 months, but I didn't end up with them. I didn't end up with the short term, nothing. So my doctors at that point, because I do have lupus and asthma, and because my family obviously does not have a good history with this virus and with them dying and having post-COVID and stuff like that, has told me basically, because I did not get any antibodies from getting it the first time, that I could not return to the road until I got vaccinated.
All right, so now the vaccine is available, and that's causing a controversy in
Hmm.
itself.
Yes.
So, in order for you to return to work or return to anything, you have to take the vaccine.
It either, critical mass of Americans has to get it, or I have to get it.
So,
So for me
so
at this point, I don't even leave my house. I do. I order my groceries online and then drive to Kroger and have them load up the back of my truck, my car.
So Vanessa, what's the verdict on the vaccine when it becomes available?
I'm actually not worried about it, because I used to work with the infectious diseases and stuff like that. This vaccine was originally being created for SARS. And as I said, COVID is a SARS virus. It's SARS-CoV-2. So they just kind of had to tweak it a little bit, and that's why I was able to get out so fast. So because I worked with the infectious diseases and stuff like that, I'm not really concerned about taking this vaccine. I can understand where people would be a little iffy about it, especially because it came out so fast. But the truth is, they've actually been working on this vaccine for over a decade, just for a different strain of this virus. So, but
they're talking
Mhm.
there's a new strain of COVID strain. There's a new
Yeah,
strain of COVID right now.
yeah, a mutation of this one, but they believe that it's close enough that the vaccine will still work on it.
Okay. So you will take the vaccine when it becomes available to you?
Yes. Yeah, I will. I'm not going to say whether I think anybody else should. I'm not going to force. I think that's everybody's personal decision. I, you know, for me, it makes sense. And I actually have to be careful with a lot of vaccines because, like, my immune system's so weak that I caught mumps from the MMR shot as a kid.
Okay.
So I can't take dying strains of vaccines. I have to take like synthetic or dead vaccines. But yeah, like, no, I would never. I'm not one to force people to take vaccines. I'm not going to judge someone whether they want to or not. The masks are a little different. I really wish people would wear them. You know, they're just a piece of cloth. It doesn't hurt you. You know, like, you know,
A lot,
I mean,
a
when
lot of
you're just walking around outside and there's no one else around, I don't care about that. You know, but when you're in enclosed spaces or, you know, a foot away from their face, you know, it'd be nice if you put a mask on.
So now that COVID season pretty much changed the face of everything that we were used to,
Hmm.
going into this year and going into the years that's coming up. Do you personally think that it's ever going to get back to the way it was?
I don't. I don't think it'll ever get 100% back to the way it was. Um, I think COVID will probably end up like the flu, where we're going to end up getting vaccinated for it every year. I think people are going to be a little more cautious. You know, you'll probably see more people wearing masks, kind of like you do over in the Asian countries where people are in closer proximity to each other. I don't know if the mask mandate will stay, but I think people might choose to wear them. I used to wear them in the spring and fall, anyways, because of my asthma.
Right.
Um, but Yeah, I think you'll probably see more people doing that. I do think we'll get some semblance of normalcy back. Probably, honestly, my best guess was probably around October of this year, because they're expecting July for everyone who wants a vaccine to be able to get a vaccine. And it seems like enough people are willing to get the vaccine that we might hit the vaccinated herd immunity. Um, and then they'll be able to start opening up things like they were before, and we'll be able to have family gatherings again without having to worry if you're going to kill grandma or mom or dad, you know. And you know, like, I got to sit alone on Christmas, you know, because I was the only one in my family who, you know, hadn't had COVID, and my aunt and her kids had just had it over Thanksgiving.
All right.
And
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
oh yeah, no, that's just, you know, so I mean, like, I think things will start to get closer to normal, but I don't think they'll ever get back to 100% like we were.
That's what's up. That's what's up, man. Again, Vanessa, thank you for coming on. I really do appreciate it. And I am so sorry. My condolences goes out to you and your family.
Thank
I
you.
know that I know that hit must have hit at you hard. Where were you? I know you was on the truck, but where were you when you got the news of your father's health status?
I was in Michigan. I actually had just come back to pick up a load from a Nestle bottling plant out by Flint, which, by the way,
Mm,
all that
okay.
Nestle water you guys drink is being bottled right by Flint with the horrible water.
Yeah.
Um,
I
but
I, I, I used to pick up water and they load you so fucking heavy.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. I had to go there at least twice to have them to rearrange the trailer, man, because they loaded it so heavy.
Yeah, it's God, it's so heavy. But I had just shut down for the night at one of the rest areas that you hit, like not long after you leave the plant.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, I wasn't feeling well, and I had taken my temperature and it was 101. And they actually thought I might have COVID when the rest of my family did, but I tested negative for it, and they just figured I had a really bad upper respiratory infection mixed with my asthma that kind of presented as COVID. Um, but I kept on having like a really bad feeling about what was going on at home, because I knew they were sick, but they were like, I knew they were hiding something from me. And because they didn't want to tell me, they didn't want me to come back and catch it. But I had talked to my mom, and she had said that she was trying to get my dad to go to the hospital, and that he wasn't going. And I was told her, like, well, why don't you let me talk to him, or just call an ambulance at this point, like, if he's that bad, because we're not go to the hospital people. And a couple hours go by, and I was called to see if I could talk to my dad, because she said that she'd let me talk to my dad in a few minutes, and they had taken him to the hospital, and I never got to talk to him. I never got to see him.
I am so sorry about that. What was the arrangement of, because now I know, like, I knew a couple of people that has passed, and they wasn't able to even see their family member
Nope.
even at the funeral. So how was the arrangement for his homegoing?
He with my dad, we never got to see him or speak to him before he passed away. We had asked if somebody could come up there, because we had 2 people that were infected with COVID, so they couldn't catch it. And they said no. And then we asked if I could go up there, even though my mom's scared to death to send me to the hospital, and they said no. They did bring in a speakerphone and let us say our goodbyes. He was unconscious at the time, though. And the doctor and respiratory therapists were crying on the phone while we were trying to say our goodbyes. I think he was one of the first deaths they really had, like in the hospital, like with them working on him for almost 2 weeks. So, I mean, it hit them hard too. And and he died almost instantly as soon as they took him off the ventilator. And when my sister went up to get his belongings, because she couldn't catch COVID again, because she had COVID right then, the doctor tried to give my sister a hug, because my doctor was still crying, and my sister had to push her away and be like, no, I've got COVID. You can't, I have COVID. So we felt really bad for the medical staff too. And then it took a while for them to collect his body and have him cremated, because they were only cremating COVID victims on certain days at that time because of biological problems. We couldn't have a funeral because my mom and sister were infected and I wasn't infected, and we couldn't keep some of the family out and they were only allowing 10, and how do we choose 10 people when so many people wanted to be there, especially because some were infected and some weren't. And it cost us $2,989 to have him cremated. And so all of my and my sister's stimulus check went into that, plus a little extra. And then I spent my savings helping my mom pay off the house, because I thought I'd be going back to work. And I did for a day.
All right.
So.
Thank you for your story. I thank you for your story.
You're welcome.
A lot of people that I have talked to, again, this COVID, I don't know. I don't know. It's like if person catch it, it hits them harder than others. Me, I stay masked up. I got gloves. You just don't know how is transmitted.
Yeah.
You just don't know how. Is it transmitted by the hands? Is it transmitted by breathing? We just don't know. All I could just say is that I just hope everybody just take a little bit more precaution in what they're doing in their daily lives. So
it's mostly, from what we know, it's mostly transmitted by saliva, which comes out when you speak or talk, which is why they ask people to wear the masks, because it keeps the saliva in and not aerosoled into the air. So your mask protects other people. It doesn't protect you. So that's why they ask everybody to put them on. But, I mean, your saliva will get on railings and then it's on your hands. It can get in your eyes if somebody is talking without a mask at you, it's really, really easily caught. And this new strain is 70% more contagious. So, and, so I would just want everybody to be safe out there. I don't want anybody to have to go through what my family's gone through.
And you went through a lot, but look like you're a strong person. Look like you're getting it through, man. I mean, just by looking at your beautiful smile, you don't know the actual pain inside. So, more power to you, definitely.
Like I said, I'm the oldest one, so I have to keep the best mask on.
Welcome everybody to the Lockoutmen podcast show. For everybody that's popping up in here late, I am talking with Vanessa, and she's telling us her story and everything. If you missed some of it, definitely make sure you hit the replay so you can go back and listen to an interesting story that this young lady has, man. In the chat, I want to welcome Trucking Faith. What's going on? How you doing? RN, what's going on, bruh? Trucking Faith sends her condolences to you, Faith.
Thank you.
Thank you, Faith, for that. NY2 Japan, she sends her condolences to you as well. James Park Avenue, what's going on, bruh? How you feel? And Terrence R asks, will you take the vaccine, Sean? I'm on the fence. I am on the fence. I mean, I've been doing everything possible with the mask, with the gloves, with the sanitizer, staying my distance. I had to go to the doctor yesterday. I had to get my eyes examined. I did my physical. I checked out, to be all right. I did my DOT physical. I got my card. I had to go and get my ears cleaned. I do that like every other year. They go in with the little, like that, try to clean the wax out. But
did you have ear infections as a kid?
I didn't have ear infections. It's just that like during my teens, not my teens, but like in my 20s or something like that, I used to I used to have earwax problems.
Some people have that.
Yeah, I used to go in and pull out like big clots, and I'm like, it builds up. But ever since then, I go every other week to get my ear. I mean, not week, but every other year to get my ears clean, and I just do that. But as I went to the hospital, they checked me out. I turned out fine. I don't have no symptoms, so. Like I said, I am on the fence when it comes to this virus because, like I said, the controversy behind it, and I just don't.
I don't blame anyone for being cautious about the vaccine. If it makes you guys feel better, because, like I said, I am going to get the vaccine when it's available for me. I will let you guys know how I react to it.
I will definitely bring you back on to the show so you can tell us. Any idea when it's going to come to? Because because you can't go back to truck driving until you take the vaccine, right?
No, I can't. If people were more consistent about the mask mandate across the country, I probably could, but some states don't have it at all, and I'm OTR, so I can't take the chance. Like my doctor said, my job is not worth my life, which
Exactly.
I agree, but I'm also bored out of my mind.
How's your health now? I mean, how you feeling now?
As you see me smoking a cigarette. Yeah, this is my one vice. Well, this and caffeine. I don't drink. I don't do any drugs or anything, but I am a smoker. And I actually started smoking as a teenager because of my it or not. I would have these coughing fits, and I would take a few hits off of a cigarette and I'd stop coughing, but it's because it would paralyze the hairs in your bronchial tube, and then I could get some sleep, and it became an addiction. But my personal health isn't terrible. It's always a little worse in the winter and stuff like that. Just because of the colds and stuff. Sorry, my cat just jumped on me again. But I mean, I do take I just did a round of steroids and for my lungs and stuff like that. It's not as good as it was last year, but it's not the worst it's ever been. Now, my sister, on the other hand, is bad. Like I said, we thought she had, the doctors think she had a mild heart attack on Saturday. She was just at the doctor's again today. They're telling her that she needs to cut out any caffeine or stimulants or anything like that. So, she's not doing well, but mine's not too terrible.
Now you say all you guys used to stay together. So where are y'all? Where y'all in individual rooms right now,
Yeah.
or you're in individual? Oh, okay, so y'all in individual rooms right now.
Yeah, we have a pretty decent sized house. My mother got it when she was pregnant with my brother. Because our car got stolen twice in the same week in Detroit. And she was like, which one of my kids am I going to leave in the car while I take the other one in? And so she didn't want to stay down there. But we had to keep the house in Detroit because of residency laws. So we found a pretty cheap house in the suburb of Detroit. Just I'm on like 11 Mile, and I used to live on 8 Mile. And it used to be a boarding house. So, but it was really like the room in the back was like a cement slab, and it was really not run down. It wasn't completely built, I guess is what you could say. But luckily my grandpa did carpentry, and my family's pretty crafty and good at electric and work and drywall and carpentry and stuff like that. So the house we're in is pretty big. Yeah.
You turn something into a livable house. 8 Mile. It's kind of crazy that you mentioned 8 Mile. Growing up back in the day, have you came across Eminem?
Yeah. Apparently I've been at a few parties that he was at. When my one friend was a bartender, and Eminem's wife or girlfriend, Kim, she used to come into the bar that my friend was a bartender at all the time. And my aunt actually dated Kid Rock when they lived in a trailer park together.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, my aunt's my aunt's my mom's half sister. So
your aunt dated Kid Rock before he was Kid Rock?
Yeah, when he was Bob.
Wow. And now you say your aunt dated him, so that means man, she missed out on that, huh?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, he kind of missed out on that. Who other famous people from Detroit that you cross paths with?
Detroit's kind of like a really big little town. Like, so you end up running into a lot of famous people without realizing it. When they were making a lot of movies here, you used to run into movie stars all the time at the Coney Island, or downtown Royal Oak, or whatever. Like Pierce, or was it? I think it was not Pierce Brosnan. the newer Bond guy.
I forgot his name, but I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, him and his wife Rachel Weisz. When they were making the Transformers movies, they were all here. I remember being in downtown Detroit, and they set off an explosion while they were filming Red Dawn, and they didn't let us know that they were going to be setting off an explosion, and it shook the building and actually knocked some of the mortar off of the building. And the first thing that came to mind was that somebody had bombed Windsor. Like, I thought they had actually, because they've tried to attack Detroit before, but I knew we were still alive. So, like, I thought they had bombed Windsor, but they were filming a movie. So,
okay.
You know.
So you came across Eminem and your aunt dated Kid Rock.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I didn't like sit and talk and have conversations with either of them, but like, yeah, my aunt has. I remember my aunt dating him and pictures of them and stuff from back when I was a little kid. She's 15 years older than me. And then you know, I know that Eminem was at one of the few parties I was at, but I didn't sit there and have conversations or talk to him or anything like that. You know?
It's only in passing.
Yeah. I'm actually really introverted, despite how much I'm talking. So,
it's like you know, of course, you know, everybody, you know, me being from Cleveland, Ohio. I'm from the same area as Bone Thugs and Harmony. So, you know, I came across them in passing. My sister actually went to school with a couple of guys, but again, it's in passing.
Yeah. That's like my mom went to school with like Glenn Frey from the Eagles and Bruce Campbell, who makes the movies and stuff, like Evil Dead and stuff. They went to the same high school, but like they didn't hang out or anything like that. You know, they just were in the same high school. You know?
Only in passing. That's about it.
Yeah.
Well, Vanessa, thank you for joining me, man. I really do appreciate it. I appreciate you coming on and sharing your story.
No problem.
My condolences out to you and your family.
Thank you.
You're definitely a strong inspiration person.
Thank you.
I know it was kind of hard for you to even come on to share your story, especially about your father. You know, him being so, being so healthy and getting hit with COVID so hard, and you wasn't able to, to even say goodbye to him, let alone see him.
Yeah.
So, I knew that kind of hurt. So I do appreciate you coming on here sharing.
No, it's no problem. I mean, I feel kind of like people sometimes kind of need to hear stories like because otherwise it's just numbers, especially if you're from smaller towns and stuff and don't know anyone who's actually been affected by this virus. It's hard to understand how serious it can be, especially with all the stuff you hear everywhere. You never know what's real, what's fake. It's confusing. I understand that, so I think sometimes hearing real stories from people helps a little bit, so that's why I share my story with people about that.
And I appreciate it. Thank you very much for coming on.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. Stand by while I end the segment, and I will get back with you in a minute.
Okay.
Hold on, I gotta get my thing out. There we go. What's going on, everybody? I do appreciate you guys being here, but this is gonna do it for the Lockoutmen podcast show for Tuesday. I hope you guys is enjoying everything that I'm bringing to you guys. I may not, it's not all about, it's about trucking, it's about trucking, but it's about personal stories such as my guest tonight. So that's what I like to do. I like to bring them in, let them tell their stories, and we just conversate, just like, like the title says, Park and Politic. That's about it. I do appreciate you guys being here. Thank you very much. Everybody in the chat that stayed with me all the way up until the end. I really appreciate that. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. If you like content like this and more, like the channel. Everything else will fall into play. Okay? Everything else will definitely fall into play. Thank you very much. And I will come back to you again with another episode of the Lockoutmen podcast. Thank you very much. And I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.
Cause baby, once I'm gone, I ain't coming back. You gon' have to settle with another man. But when you realize, don't be running back. Ain't no sunshine when I'm gone.